Let's get riggedy right! Yeah! Take a shot to a pop, blowing lines of turpentine, get wrecked, hit your ass, fight a cop, feeling fine, punch your dick, turn some tricks, quit your job, buy a dog, have 2 beers, then 10 more, pop a pill and beat the floor.
That one's not my belly button.
Well, what is it?
Episode opens on all the main characters eating cliché.
That's not a cliche, and you're off to a bad start.
Also eating something that very much looks like breakfast for lunch.
Sinning breakfast for lunch. You should be burned at the stake, you heathen.
Any clue when our house guest is finally gonna leave?
If you all continue to talk loud enough for him to hear you through the open archway in the adjacent room, this problem may solve itself.
Thinking that Summer would give a shit about that.
Anyway, then I got fired from my job, my wife left me, broke both my legs, failed the bar exam.
Bar exams? If you go to school for 4 years to learn how to do a job, there's no need for an additional test afterward. Either incorporate the exam into law school or abolish it. As it stands now, it's just a way to gatekeep an already shitty profession. But I didn't mean to get so serious, so I'll hand things back to you, Mr. Poopy Butthole.
So you're sitting the show for something that you have a problem with in real life. Even though the title of this video is Everything Wrong with Rick and Morty, not Everything Wrong with Law School and the Bar Exam. Stupid sin is stupid.
I'm Mr. Poopy Butthole, and this is Rick and Morty Season 7!
Breaking the fourth wall with your poopy butthole.
Pointing things out on the screen with your boring channel.
Buddy, brought you coffee?
Calling your grandfather buddy. He's not your buddy, he's your grandfather. Friends aren't family, and family aren't friends. The quicker we all understand that, the easier we'll be to tell your boss to f*** off when he tries to make you feel like shit by using the expression, we're all family here. No!
Okay, I need to make gravity part of its finished business and leave floors unfinished.
How would making the floors unfinished help the ghost to stop from phasing through said floor? Possible I don't understand the differences between finished and unfinished in this context.
Is this an intervention of me not intervening?
It appears so, and that is way too much interventioning of the intervening while...
Skip.
You're mean, Dad.
Pick your battles, honey.
Haha, yeah, you, Summer.
So we're not only getting a new voice for Rick, but also a character trait that appreciates Jerry? Because I'm not okay with that second thing.
He doesn't really appreciate Jerry. He just wanted to dunk on Summer, and Jerry allowed that to happen. Rick still hates Jerry, and I can't believe I have to explain this to you. It's really not that difficult to understand.
Not wearing a helmet while you're riding a motorcycle.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Well, should we do shots? Let's get riggedy right! Yeah!
Love the enthusiasm and bad decision making, but those aren't shot glasses. Those are Weissen glasses. If you're gonna have a drinking problem, at least be accurate about it.
The waiter was passing their table with this tray of beers while Mr. Poopy Butthole was suggesting shots, and Rick snatched the tray from his hands. So it's not as if they agreed to do shots and then ordered beers, which is what you're making it seem like. This is a great example of TVSins cutting up a scene in order to deceive their audience.
That one's not my belly button.
Well, what is it?
Why is everyone assuming that the non-belly button hole is the one closest to the human pubic area? This creature's non-belly button could be anywhere, and they should all be looking alarmed.
But she said that while looking directly at Jean, so why would they assume she was talking to someone who isn't Jean? No, seriously, what the actual is this sin?
We're on Earth.
Earth has people who can grow wings out of their backsides? Have I missed the episode where humans and aliens are living together in rave harmony?
This sin is just an example of Discount Jeremy padding the sin count and runtime. Nobody cares about what he said, unless you count the TVSins fanboys who refuse to think for themselves.
Jackman is Australian slang for
Damn it! Australians get all the best slang. Did you know in the land down under they call sheep jumbucks? Jumbucks! We say sheep because they make that sound, but they're all like, F that, these floofs are jumbucks, and no one will ever need to know why.
Boring!
Don't accept other people's limitations.
That's horrible advice. When I ignored my friend's limitations.
Skip.
You're a vampire, brother. You feed off other people's energy.
Outside of What We Do in the Shadows, this is not how vampires work. And Hugh Jackman, you are know What We Do in the Shadows.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
You think I don't know a half-assed intervention when I see one coming?
Nearly every participant of AE's intervention somehow makes its way into the episode.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture... Wait, why am I getting deja vu?
It's not mud!
But if the animators can't make the That's Not Mud look like something other than the regular mud, then how is it funny?
Look, I really don't want to have to explain this one cause it's nasty, so I'll just leave you with this. One of the guys obviously had the Hershey squirts, and that's what this is. I didn't think this was so difficult to comprehend, but then again, we're dealing with TVSins. That fake-ass laugh.
Why is this my thing?
Being this upset that you have the ability to suck on your own gears.
Discount Jeremy likes self-sucking.
These four inebriated individuals, one of which is f***ing Gene, take down a predator.
That's the joke. Gearhead went back to the gear system and got a spinal replacement. He's still paying it off.
America's healthcare system.
And possibly to put a bullet in all future Wolverine references.
With Deadpool 3 on the way? Doubt it.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
Oh, here I go pilling again.
We didn't see anyone pop a fading pill before, so the effects must have taken longer than they do now, which only means the fade pill works sinfully in time with the plot.
Yup, and this is a cartoon about a mad scientist that's not supposed to be taken seriously. I know you think it's entertaining when you give dumb sins like this, but it's not. At least not to those of us with more than 5 brain cells.
I guess that's why they say I'm just a country loving, deer hunting, rabbit eating, redneck, inbreeding, beer drinking, small penis. Did I mention we drive a tractor? We're red when we're mad, when we're sick we're green. Only race in the world that eats sardines. White girls, flat butts, and I know that's mean, but if you try to eat the booty, it tastes like saltines. Back far away from that anus.
Straighten that pillow. He might hate crooked pillows. I don't know.
Nice parking job, ass dick. You scratched my car.
Top tier is like Pac here. The coaches say don't talk to the law, the cops weird. It's not the nigga that I fear, my eyes clear. What I did at 10, I'm quadrupling in 5 years. Standards, we don't even respect the slander. They asking questions but trying to contaminate the answers. Yup. Never picked up the bandana life. These niggas toting guns that they can't even handle right. To keep the shit a stack, we don't got a chance. We just working on a couple $1 million plans. I'm making invisible moves like I'm Hollow Man. A game will make you feel like you ain't real until you shot a man.
Jerry must be able to see Rick is in here, but still decides to touch this head bucket thing as if he's unaware that Rick has inverted people he likes far more for doing far less.
He says this after showing a clip of Jerry walking over to the counter without looking in Rick's direction. Also, thinking that Jerry would even have the common sense to avoid touching Rick's stuff. Jerry is on roughly the same intellectual level as the TVSins writers do. He's not exactly a smart person.
I asked Gene if he borrowed my rake, and he said no, like that, like too fast. I think he has my rake.
The single brain cell that Jerry found as a child and forced into his ear hole is obviously busy measuring its nasal cavity with a power drill right now. If Jerry for 1 second thinks this is something Rick would ever help him with.
Wait, so you're aware that Jerry is as smart as you, but you still sin it? Actually, given your, capabilities, that makes sense.
If I had your brain...
If you had my... I am so sick of this born smart shit.
Rick swaps their minds in reaction to Jerry's comments. So why is one of the brain strainers already hooked up and ready to go, and the second one is on his workbench as if he was already tinkering with it? Feels kind of weird that Rick is always prepared to do a Freaky Friday.
It's a cartoon, dude. Deal with it.
Oh, we're swapping bodies?
No, that would be Freaky Friday.
Rick and Morty episode mentions the thing they're riffing off so they don't get accused of ripping off said thing, as if we care about such distinctions in a show this hilarious. Yes, that sounds like a sin removal, but it is not.
Well, in that case, I have to sin you.
I'm gonna put my mind in your brain, and your mind in my brain.
Look, I'm stunned that Rick is wasting a single nanosecond trying to teach Jerry something, but doing it in a way that requires Rick to be in Jerry's mind feels like potty training a kid by shitting in your own pants.
I mean, that's kind of exactly what it is. Rick is trying to prove a point here, and going this far to do so absolutely falls in line with his character.
Medical emergency detected.
The medical emergency bot isn't programmed with the ability to predict medical emergencies before they happen. In any other show, that would be an unfair expectation, but Rick turned himself into a pickle one time, and that really moved the bar on what's plausible.
I'm sure Rick could make a robot capable of predicting medical emergencies, but he's also pretty impulsive, as we've been shown numerous times, so him not having that in his garage would fit his character, no?
Jerry, your mind did that to my body using my brain.
Jerry, my mind was in this brain in your body. Pretty easy to follow.
It is not, and the show knows that, which means the show knows that I...
Skip.
Really about to die because you watched a Freaky Friday?
Calm down, Morty. Hollywood's been botching Freaky Friday for decades and no one has died. You just find little pieces of your soul slowly eroding away over time.
So what's the sin here? He didn't say anything that could be counted as a mistake of the episode, so now I'm just confused.
They made us stop at every drive-thru chain in the galaxy so they could make one giant burger.
And they did! But then they decided to immediately discard it and just eat a regular-sized burger instead.
They probably just couldn't fit the giant burger in their mouths. Kinda like your wife with...
So they just stick burgers in dead guys' mouths now?
In dead criminals' mouths, Summer.
You're defending them.
I didn't take that as a defense as much as a factually accurate...
Skip.
Should be thanking you for making me rich.
Wait, I I didn't pay you for this.
Yeah, these guys did.
These guys, who timed their entrance perfectly with this reveal, even though they couldn't have known this conversation was even happening.
Cartoon. Not supposed to be taken seriously.
Jerry?
Rick?
Grandpa?
Jesus Christ!
The show making me believe that Jesus Christ was actually a possibility here, and the ensuing disappointment when there was no Jesus Christ.
Getting excited to see Jesus.
My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is my nigga.
Holy sh! All the positive aspects of each perfectly melded together?
In other words, Rick and Morty went full-on Tuvix, and you never go full-on Tuvix.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
I am Jeriki.
Okay, this is immediately raising some biological red flags for me. Like, if the Jerry head eats something, does it pass through the Rick head's skull? Why did they choose to keep Rick's pants but make Jerry's arm legs naked? And why, if given the option, would you use the human centipede as your inspiration instead of Voltron? I know the chains are slightly wobbling, but Beth, Summer, and Morty should still be soup right now instead of saved.
Why? Can you back that up with anything? No? Then why is it in the video?
I knew this day would come.
What day? The day that a genius/waste of evolution hybrid would steal all of your drugs, snort them, and then return to kill you after you held his family hostage?
Or maybe just the day when he would be overthrown and killed? Just a thought.
I have modified the house defenses. They will ensure the mob never bothers you again.
We've seen this house fight off all sorts of craziness. Was a group of aliens inspired by the Mafia really a threat that required an upgrade? What was the adjustment? A hotline to the alien IRS? That was a solid Al Capone tax evasion joke. Just go watch The Untouchables.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
I thought when you came to rescue us, you learned to love us more than ever. You learned the opposite?
Assuming that someone leaving means they don't love you. People can love you deeply and still want to be very far away from you and never want to see you and generally want nothing to do with you at all. That's totally normal. Please, tell me that's normal. Tell me that's normal.
Oh shit. I am Jeriki, and I only need to love myself.
I mean, I'm as shocked as anyone Rick hasn't invented something for that ability, but I can tell you there's at least a 99.87% chance that the newly formed Jeriki is too tall to properly love himself.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sexual joke that isn't funny cliche.
You guys don't give a goddamn shit about Gene.
Preach! And yet, ironically or otherwise, the show keeps wasting precious minutes on him.
Sinning Gene.
Tackle this f***ing thing!
Wow, you're just gonna skip over how Beth, Summer, and Morty managed to science the shit out of separating Rick and Jerry? Just gonna straight up not write that scene, huh? Just gonna hope we all won't question it and that we'll eventually be distracted by something at the Where's all the cutlery? Why are they only using forks? And where's the f***ing orange juice, coffee, and condiments?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Well, those horses won't sew themselves up.
Saying this within earshot of a man you know could make this happen and put you out of a job.
That man is her father who's mooching off of her. I don't think he's going to be putting her out of a job anytime soon. He needs her to have an income.
On The Simpsons by giving them a room in Jerry's brain as a cameo 8 years after they gave you an entire couch gag. I could be reaching there, but if it starts an all-out multiversal war between The Simpsons and Rick and Morty, I think it's kind of worth it.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliche.
That's private.
Not to me. Not to the Dark Lord if you don't improve.
But I'm finna change your mind with a hint of good vibes and a little bit of mind control. You're gonna take this all in your mind. You're gonna turn it out and only let it go. When I say this all in your mind. You're gonna turn it out and only let it go.
Before we move off this topic, can I ask if you're currently a hologram?
This suggests at least one topic has been covered before Dr. Wong bothered to confirm whether she was talking to a human hologram or human hologram dinosaur hybrid. And have you met Rick Sanchez?
Okay, what's the sin? How did the episode make a mistake? You haven't said anything genuinely critical yet, and by definition, that sin wasn't a joke. So what was the point of it?
You've heard the state motto, Virginia is for lovers?
That's actually more of a tourism slogan. We all know that the motto has...
Skip?
Danger!
Episode will not pay off this Yeti prophecy, but the show will expect me to be impressed when they bring it back a year from now in an episode about the abominable snowman accidentally consuming whatever the space equivalent of cocaine is.
I hate having to keep repeating this, but what's the sin here? You just rambled out a bunch of garbage and rang the sin bell. It wasn't legitimately critical or funny, so what the hell, man?
Damn it, Rick and Morty, is this going to be a vomit episode? The fact that you picked vomit as your mind-controlled delivery method of choice instead of touch, brainwaves, or f***ing hand jobs is more about you than it does me. Why would you want to animate this instead of a hand job?
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy hand job joke that isn't funny, cliche.
Surrounded, and Unity knows your reload time.
Not thinking that Rick would be able to randomize his refractory period.
I mean, he clearly can't in this situation. All he has on him are the gun and the magazines, and we already saw that he has to manually reload, so...
Calm down! We came because we're worried about you!
Vomit aside, I was actually having a great time with this episode until it revealed that Unity traveled across the galaxy, assimilated an entire state, and declared independence from America, all to get Rick's attention so she can talk about how much she still cares. Which, ironically, means I suddenly don't.
And why is that? Are you going to explain your reason or just leave it there? See, this is a big problem with TVSins. They're actually very influential on their audience because their fanboys are generally too simple-minded to think for themselves, meaning they think everything TVSins says is automatically true. So when they say something like this, most of their fans immediately denounce this episode as trash because TVSins said so, even though they didn't provide any reason for why this plot point is bad. I'm not saying you have to like every plot point. I'm just saying you should actually explain your opinions instead of just assuming they're valid.
I tried calling, but is it true you're looking for him again?
When you pronoun game this explicitly, I start to question my efficacy. And no one makes me question my own efficacy.
The pronoun game sins only really work when the person doesn't know who the other character is talking about. In this case, Rick immediately knew that Unity meant Rick Prime.
Cue up the dome. Yes, sir!
Equipping your helicopter with a big-ass handle for the sole purpose of activating a dome is completely in line with what I imagine the government bean counters believe to be fiscally responsible.
Discount Jeremy explains why it's not a sin, and then gives it a sin.
Do you have a dome the size of every state?
You'll need a second date for that answer.
Trading state secrets for second dates. The Constitution.
Skip.
He sees Virginia with its perfect economy and synchronized lawn mowing, so he shoots them and puts them in a dome?
Is she totally ignoring the zombie people in their oral evictions? Either this is what Virginia looks like on any given day, or this news channel is willfully ignorant of the truth and spreading misinformation.
I actually kind of appreciate the Virginia jokes, but I just like to point out how a second ago he sinned the news anchor for criticizing the president based on alien disasters happening, instead of criticizing the way he handled those disasters.
Listen, disastrous happens regardless of who bought their way into office. What you should criticize him for is how terribly he handled each disaster.
But now when he sees them clearly criticizing the way he's handling this alien disaster, they're still sinning it.
If it connects to another mind, it could become its own colony.
Oh, wow. You made a PowerPoint?
Nice try, Rick. One slide with a fancy graphic does not a PowerPoint presentation make. I'm going to need flashy text transitions, at least 3 different fonts per slide, and proof that you spent 3 hours looking for the perfect image from the depths of clip art.
I'm just going to say this once. PowerPoint presentations.
Sorry you lost a finger, but that's the price of surprise butt play.
That fake-ass laugh.
If you invite me to the wedding, I will in the punch.
Rick's got a doo-doo in his butt. Cliche.
Discount Jeremy tries to sing in a video cliche. Also, that's not a cliche.
Is nothing short of literally a 100% approval rating is going to save Curtis in the next election.
This Deus Ex news position inspires President Curtis to finally use Chekhov's hive mind.
Discount Jeremy points things out on the screen cliche. Also, in what universe does this count as a Deus Ex Machina? A Deus Ex Machina is when some kind of power swoops in to solve the conflict. This news broadcast actually created more conflict, so it's doing the exact opposite of a Deus Ex Machina.
Holy
But why didn't an intelligence already under the dome take control of the hive? Why not a squirrel, a pigeon, or a reasonably resourceful rat? Basically, I refuse to believe President Curtis is the smartest organism left under the dome.
So this sin was clearly meant as a joke, but seeing as it wasn't funny, I feel justified in sinning it.
Such a beautiful scene. Everyone kissing.
Kissing, intimate vomit exchange, whatever you want to call it, why is no one taking a defensive posture or at least closing their own mouths?
Because they're running away, which is a much better strategy because covering your mouth can be easily undone.
Someone order a cranky dick?
The slogan for my rejected wind-up sex toy somehow makes it into the script.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sex toy joke that isn't funny cliche.
He's going to assimilate the Earth faster than I can fight it.
Previous seasons have made Rick so unbelievably powerful that now when Rick says he can't solve something, I don't believe that either.
In Season 1, the show established that Rick can and does make mistakes. Do you seriously not remember the episode where Rick accidentally causes the Cronenberg apocalypse and he and Morty have to find a different universe? Just because he's a mega genius doesn't mean he has no limits or flaws.
I need Unity's help, so you need to convince her I'm worth it.
You aren't.
Your therapist saying this to you.
TVSins pointing things out on the screen.
You had an outer space lady who was worried for your life, and your response was hostile enough to cause a huge problem.
This feels like some utter cow turd disguised as therapy. Couldn't Unity have just, left him the f*** alone?
See, you're forgetting the big part of this that kind of makes Rick the bad guy. He was trying to find and murder Rick Prime, which the show hints has been extremely damaging for Rick in the past. Unity was worried about him and wanted to stop him from pursuing his revenge kick, which ultimately doesn't end up changing anything when he finally does kill Rick Prime. At the end of the day, Unity was right.
I can smell this episode. I should not be able to smell an episode.
And I shouldn't be able to smell your bullshit, but here we are.
Weak, sniveling pussy, starved for attention. But there's no fixing that now.
Who's ready for Rick's famous spaghetti?
I love Spaghetti Thursday. Oh my god, Rick, it's like it's better every time.
Hell yeah, you like that? That's some good spaghetti.
Grandpa Rick, I am skull emoji, but words.
Sauce? More sauce? Oh, we got the sauce.
Dad, you had a job interview, right?
Bombed it, but it's nothing a little bolognese won't cure.
Love Spaghetti Thursday. Oh my god.
Spaghetti Thursdays? This food plus day of the week naming technique does not follow the...
Skip.
Grandpa Rick, I am skull emoji, but words.
Oh, is that how you'd prefer we did this summer? Well, I am. And most importantly, but words too.
Oh, shit.
No, why? Why? No, why is it always this with you? Of course it's a person.
Morty has every right to be mad, but he's also a dumbass for missing several red flags here. Firstly, he seems oblivious to the fact that Spaghetti Thursday starts with an open corpse in the garage that we can see is easy to stumble upon.
But this scene right here implies that he's never stumbled upon it before, so this sin is dumb.
Secondly, Rick clearly hasn't been using the kitchen. So where did he think the spaghetti making was happening?
Maybe he thought Rick was simply getting it from an alien restaurant thingy. There's no reason he would automatically assume it was from a dead body.
Thirdly, and most red flaggishly, not questioning the fact that Rick decided to do something nice for the family.
Rick has been shown to do nice things before, so long as he's also benefiting from it. So this sin doesn't really track either.
On this planet, people that kill themselves turn into spaghetti.
Is a thing I have to try and be funny about without making it seem like I've missed the joke, subtext, or multi-layered metaphor.
Wait, you're actually trying to be funny in these videos? Like, you're putting effort in and still failing this badly? Damn, that's gotta be worth a few sins.
Calling the police.
Before you do that, just...
Oh, Rick, stop!
What? Where am I?
Super genius Rick does this.
That's the joke.
I just want to be honest about something. After Lawrence died, we, ate him.
We're supposed to believe Morty's doing this to clear his conscience, but if he has a conscience, how can he not see how unconscionable it is to say this shit at the poor man's funeral?
I love how TVSins just ignores characters' personalities when it allows them to force a dumb sin out of the episode. Morty clearly isn't smart enough to think about this beforehand, but you're expecting him to fully think it through for some reason.
So we were eating people.
Wait a second. Earlier Morty said,
I want their names or I'm telling Mom.
Rick held up his end of the bargain, so why the f are we suddenly telling the whole family instead of moving on to something less f***ing weird, like a character called Mr. Poopy Butthole?
This scene implies that Rick agreed to tell the family off screen. How is this so difficult for you to understand?
Keep eating them.
We can't now.
Because of you. Sorry.
Morty, that was terrible parenting.
That fake-ass laugh.
You are invited to 41 Kepler B. You know it as Spaghetti Planet. You're not in trouble, we just want to talk.
Morty chooses to believe this random sentient spaceship and let it take him to 41 Kepler B. Just because the spaceship speaks the truth doesn't make it any less stupid that Morty goes along with all of this.
And Morty has been shown to be a stupid person countless times in the past, so why are you sinning him for staying in character?
Is this people or not people? I just need to know how much I should pretend to be upset.
I love it when Rick and Morty use their irreverent format to challenge the big topics in society. Topics like, do we really want to know where our food comes from? Wrapped up in a right to die metaphor, among others. It's good shit. 10 out of 10. What I don't love is using Jerry to say the quiet part out loud and stripping away all the nuance out of the metaphor for the benefit of the real-world Jerrys in the back row. Don't pander to the Jerrys. They're not listening anyway.
It's not pandering to the Jerrys. It's making fun of the Jerrys. What are you talking about? This is very similar to the sin from their video about American Dad where they sinned a joke about Stan being homophobic. If the episode is making fun of homophobia, or in this case people who don't actually care about where their products come from, it's not a sin because they're condemning the homophobia, or in this case the Jerrys of the world.
I was a serial killer and cannibal, and now I get to kill myself and be food for you.
This company's building a fucking hologram into every can, and that is an expense they really didn't need to bother with. The only marketing most people need is the word
skip.
This would have happened if you'd been honest about the spaghetti.
Regardless of when Rick told Morty where the spaghetti came from, Morty would still feel ethically obligated to fix Spaghetti Planet's problems by making 1,000 more problems for Rick to solve.
Yep, and the problem is what exactly? That a 14-year-old boy creates problems for people but refuses to admit it? Yeah, that's not a sin, that's being 14.
Okay, so we just need to figure out something else besides people to put in the cans, right?
Can't you just, and hear me out now because this might sound a little weird, can't you just use actual Earth spaghetti?
So you want them to start shipping spaghetti from Earth all the way to this planet for it then to be packaged and sold on this planet. Dude, that's not how capitalism works. That would cost way too much money, and be way too ethical.
I love you, Clone 5617B.
I guess all clone stories turn out the same way.
I mean, the island didn't really. They cloned Tyrone certainly didn't, and neither did Star Wars Attack of the Clones. As much as we wish it probably had.
Discount Jeremy makes 3 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
It's in horrible, unimaginable pain from the moment it's born.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no, Rick.
So, I didn't even bother to make it because I knew you'd take issue.
All right, stop the car. So Rick came up with an idea, abandoned it, gave the abandoned idea a sell. Also, he could show the abandoned idea to Morty so that he could tell him he abandoned the idea he knew he wouldn't approve of? I do not believe Rick had the time or will for this.
You're joking, right? Because this is exactly the type of thing Rick would do. You can't expect me to believe you've never watched this show before when you have videos about almost every episode.
It's more believable to me that Rick was able to clone the spaghetti-filled torsos than being able to set up a system that evenly distributes the spaghetti to the cans.
So you saying some brain-dead nonsense apparently counts as a sin of the episode? What?
What's the f***ing hold up? I've got an entire planet waiting on delivery.
When the spaghetti delivery ships left earlier, no one was out here trying to get to the planet. Where were all of you then?
Not here. Somewhere else. How does asking this question count as a sin of the episode?
Yep, we're skipping the whole emotional finale montage thing. Solid point was being made about would you still eat bacon if you were friends with the pig debate, but it's presented through this manufactured and emotionally manipulative life story that is several notches of up beyond what the inside-out critters in my brain can handle.
Discount Jeremy makes 2 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
This jersey just says sports ball.
That's the joke.
Everyone can be a winner, and peddling this idea leads to unrealistic expectations and pressures our kids to always be the best, when statistically that is not possible.
How does this equate to them peddling the idea that everyone can be a winner? It doesn't say anything about anyone else, only this dude. Also, are you suggesting that we shouldn't push kids to perform as well as they possibly can? I mean, no one is suggesting that we should ridicule kids for not winning or anything like that. All that's happening right now is the episode showing us that this guy won some competition at some point in time. That's it. Discount Jeremy is just projecting societal problems onto it.
Bon appetit.
More vomit. Again? After last episode? Doesn't even make sense this time. Tears, I understand, but why does it always have to be vomit?
Morty just watched the life story of a man whose innards were then presented to him as food. If he didn't vomit, that would be a legitimate sin.
Oh, this is good. What's in there?
Well, there's some apples and some cinnamon and my hair.
What?
My hair is in the pie, Brian. And now it's inside of you. Part of me is inside of you, Brian. Do you feel me, Brian?
You know what it's like when my demons come to life and I start to overthink. I begin to lose my mind, I can't be held. When I'm at war with myself, at war with myself.
Devil on my shoulder, I see ghosts around me. Born a sinner, too sinister, what you know about it? 2011, I was close to drowning. All those close encounters with the police, posting bounties, told I go to county. What you know about it? What you know about it? 1996, I was born and bred up in the mold drama. Oh, my machine know how to help with the boys' trauma. Mine was busy working while I was out looking for a problem.
Wow, another adventure where I went up an ass.
Cliché.
Discount Jeremy misuses the word cliché ex machina.
Yeah, pal. Rick and Morty.
Oh, great. Evil Morty's back, which means I'll have to do extra research to even remember what was actually happening the last time Evil Morty made an appearance.
This type of sin is dumb enough as is, but it's even worse in this video because the episode does recap Evil Morty's storyline up to this point, so he's complaining about having to do research when the episode does the research for him.
Also, show gives us a John Carpenter-style score and gives us a character with an eye patch, but said character is not Snake Plissken.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
Bloody infinite families don't invent the world's first.
3 different discount versions of the Jetsons, and only 2 were mercifully removed from their ankles, leaving 1 to experience the horrors of the place the event horizon went.
Discount Jeremy points things out on the screen cliché.
The sequence in whatever space this is just makes me think of Candy Crush, and much like the game of Candy Crush, that is precious minutes, if not hours, that I will never get back.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
Urging dimensions to consolidate my decoys, huh?
Oh great, Rick Prime is back, which means I'll have to do extra research to even remember what was actually happening the last time Rick Prime made an appearance.
If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. You being too stupid to remember things is not a flaw of the show. That's your own fault.
Evil Morty! Should I grab the net?
Yes!
That fake-ass laugh.
Basically fracking the central finite curve to flesh out a version of yourself.
Evil Morty deciding to be Exposition Morty.
Says the guy who constantly points things out on the screen despite the fact that I can see what's happening with my own eyes.
At least filter for probability stasis.
By analyzing phasic trends among your distributive frequencies, I've identified this random science jargon being used to prove that a character has seized the intellectual high ground.
Okay, and why is that a sin? Are you going to explain? If not, then you can't really claim that this is a sin because you've given no reason to justify that claim.
All you have to do is be the last Rick left.
Does Rick Prime not have his traps filter out Morty's because he doesn't care? Or is this just shoddy craftsmanship?
He probably just doesn't care. And why would that be a sin? Care to explain? Oh, you're just relying on your fanbase not wanting to think for themselves? Okay, cool.
First, it was stagecraft being used during the production of The Mandalorian. Then it was the construction of the monstrosity known as the MSG Sphere. And now we have Rick's going all in on LED technology as well.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
You sucked at eating tea!
So is sucking a bad thing? Her tone suggested it was a bad thing, but maybe she was just being passionate? You know what, I'm just gonna make a note to circle back on this.
I don't know if this sin was supposed to be a joke because there wasn't anything remotely funny in it, so this sin is definitely justified.
I took a heroic step toward the portal.
Title of my sex tape?
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sex tape joke that isn't funny cliché.
Oh, the wife guy. Dead wife Rick.
Considering Rick Prime wiped Diane out from all realities, aren't a lot of the Ricks dead wife Ricks at this point? How does this distinguish any one Rick from another?
It doesn't, and that's the point, numbnuts. Rick Prime is making the point that this Rick is no different than any of the other Ricks he's slaughtered. It's called taunting.
Uncle Slow! What the Uncle Slow?
Wait, is Slow Mobius actually family? Or is he family? In like a Dom Toretto sense.
Discount Jeremy makes a...
Since when can Uncle Slow just manifest his clocks like this? He's always just walking around with these things out at family gatherings. Only now, after he's gone, do we find out he had this other power all along.
I'm still waiting for you to explain why that's a mistake of the episode. Not gonna bother? Okay.
Kind of the worst possible time to use his powers. Just made the death happen slower.
Actually, he died pretty instantly once he hit the big ball thingy of random energy, Morty. Just because you wouldn't use your powers to treasure your last few seconds of existence doesn't mean you can insult a long-standing member of this family.
Morty was clearly referring to the moments before his death. He just said it that way because, well, he's Morty.
Even for Rick, the fact that he survives this is very sinful.
It's really not. I mean, you spend a lot of time complaining about how Rick should be able to develop technology that would prevent tons of problems, including ridiculously over-the-top problems. But now that Rick is injured, all of that goes out the window? Pick a lane, dude.
Eli Roth's Rick and Morty.
Discount Jeremy makes...
After 6+ seasons, we yet again have another example of a musical montage trying to make us feel things on a show that spends 99% of its time laughing in the face of anyone trying to feel things.
Yeah, and somehow it works. That deserves a sin off, if anything.
People that think it's funny to get sprayed with a water hose while fully clothed.
People that think it's funny to point things out on the screen while doing nothing of value.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
Hey, Rick. Need me for any adventures?
Huh?
Adventures? Remember those?
Oh, yeah, not right now, Morty. Definitely next week, though.
You've been saying that a while now, buddy, so I think I'm gonna give you a little nudge by cashing in a few of these bad boys.
The esophageal discomfort associated with drinking while laying down.
The torturous discomfort of listening to TVSins while sober.
I got receipts, bitch. I kept notes.
Those are not receipts. Those are pieces of paper where Morty wrote some titles of adventures down that may have happened, but you can't prove that because they're written on a piece of paper.
And you're sitting this despite it falling perfectly in line with Morty's less than genius character? Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Now gaze upon me, and so shall you.
We're now going to see a bunch of clips of adventures that we've never actually seen Rick and Morty go on. However, a show mainly full of clips is still a clip show. You can only paint these so many shades of gray, Rick and Morty.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref. Also, why is that a sin? Are you going to provide a reason? Oh, you're not. Okay, cool.
One of us tells only truths, the other only lies.
But both of you are doing a discount labyrinth.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
Server, show us maximum overdrive with clothes.
But once they put the cardboard boxes on in place of clothes, won't those become clothes themselves?
No.
How about some knuckle pie?
Morty the man boat expands backward from the head instead of forward from the butt. The latter would have spared us from the unwanted detour into Lord of the Castaway Lost.
Discount Jeremy makes 3 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
Gotta start in the middle. Statistically the coolest.
Clearly, Rick has never chosen that strategy.
Skip.
Just when I thought it was safe to eat Taco Bell again. Episode...
I thought I said skip, goddammit.
It's funny because Rick chose to complete a task less disgusting than getting Morty to chug salad dressing.
Okay, so you're just gonna leave it at that? God, these videos are such a slog.
Reminding me that we haven't seen Snuffles since Season 1, and that when Rick reset all the portal travelers in Season 6, Snuffles and all the dogs he left with should have been sent back to the Prime Dimension. Meaning there's a storyline out there where Snuffles is leading an army of cute puppies against the horde of Cronenbergs, and instead of that, we got this clip show brought to us by Rox.
You know what? I would actually love to see an episode about a war between the dog army and the Cronenbergs. Well done, TVSins. Well done.
So does that mean that Morty dogs are a recognized breed by the dog show boards? Because if you ever dealt with dog show people, then you'd know you'd have an easier time getting a bank to give you $1 million with no collateral.
What was the point of this sin? If the answer to your question is yes, which it has to be seeing as this scene is happening, then you can't count it as a sin. Of course, TVSins buried the actual critique part of the sin under a dumb joke that wasn't funny in the hopes that people wouldn't notice, but that'll only work for your slack-jawed fanboys.
I will address that. I'm your court-appointed defender.
I guess he never has to defend dramatic timing because he's got that shit nailed down.
It's a cartoon, Aaron. Deal with it.
Morty, this is a bully gun.
Not that I wanted him to die, but how did Morty know which way to point this thing?
What do you mean, how does he know which way to point it? Maybe, oh, I don't know, the fact that there's a trigger and a barrel?
We're sitting on top of brand new science here. Let's gather some data.
Being this excited about collecting data.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Put your back into it, Morty.
Telling someone to put their back into it, but not following that up with, I can do it, put your ass into it. Ice Cube asked us to give you a sin for this, Rick and Morty, and have you ever tried saying no to Ice Cube?
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
It's so moist.
Rick, that's a guy.
Says the character who, a couple episodes ago, was eating human corpse spaghetti.
And did you forget that Morty regretted eating the spaghetti once he learned it was people? Damn, you really can't remember anything. Unless it's a convenient way to force a sin out of something, of course.
The episode expects me to believe that a sentient churro would have the upper body strength to pull up a marlin onto a boat, and I do not believe you, episode. Putting a movie that I want to see among the rest of this drivel.
Pointing things out on the screen among the rest of this drivel.
I observe a couple of bad apples.
Who are you calling an apple?
Director said, have these mineral...
Skip.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Oh, always watching.
Where is she? She paid me, man. She used the taxi app. I make less than minimum wage and I got 5 kids.
Sorry, man. I guess I got really excited to beat someone up for information. Where'd you take her?
Come on now.
Where is she?
She just ordered a drink. I spent a long time mixing it. She didn't even tip.
Shit, sorry. Wrong guy again. Thought I'd be better at this.
Whatever you say, man. Just don't hit me again.
Who'd she leave with?
All of the crud comes off of this vehicle while using what looks like the second weakest setting on the spray gun, and Rick hasn't once offered up this non-stick technology to a line of cookware.
Opening your video with some throwaway nonsense that nobody with more than 2 brain cells will enjoy.
So, sitting cross-legged on the floor after kindergarten for any reason whatsoever.
Pointing things out on the screen after grade school for any reason whatsoever.
Oh hey, it's the room from that other time when they did the thing that made me laugh.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliche.
Haddockers frisbee golf party is tonight.
Thinking you have a chance with Jimmy Haddocker when you're calling it frisbee golf instead of disc golf. Geez, Summer, download UDisc already and educate yourself.
I hate to be a nitpicky asshole, but everyone in this episode calls it frisbee golf, including Jimmy Haddocker, so this sin was dumb.
It's my emotional cheat day. I am removing myself from this conversation.
Rick having an emotional cheat day is like my dog
Skip.
Also, how does this thing even work so quickly? You just press the section relating to the attribute you want more or less of, and it knows which attributes to adjust accordingly? I swear I'd have to spend an entire week charting the presets on this thing to even begin to use it. In totally unrelated news, no one will play D&D with me anymore.
So why is any of this a sin? You're complaining about super advanced technology in a cartoon about a mad scientist. Do you seriously not see the issue with that? Also, Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
Also, why did the plunge in the water make Morty the Quado when he was the buff one and Summer was the intelligent one? Were there rules about this I missed? Sorry, sometimes my recall is a bit more partial than total.
This sin is completely arbitrary. If it happened the other way around, you could say the exact same thing, just flipped. Also, Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
Being one of those people that has 83% battery at 9:45 p.m.
Being one of those people who points things out on the screen for no reason.
This cyberpunk establishing shot is thrown in so casually that I'm not even sure if it was meant to be parody, pastiche, or it, just do a Blade Runner. Everyone loves Blade Runner.
In Discount Jeremy's mind, cyberpunk equals Blade Runner. That's it. End of story.
Welcome to Life as a Quado.
This line makes me realize that a better title for this episode would have been The Life of Quado with Mort Rixu. And somehow they still haven't offered me a job for my titling brilliance.
Oh, him steady too.
The Quado from Total Recall could use all his words. So I don't know why this whole bit feels like it should be about a tree that only says, I am Mroot.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
Just yell my name like normal.
I did. Why do you think I risked it with the tongs?
Conversation in my sex tape?
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sex tape joke that isn't funny cliche.
He's in the Taken house.
Episode does a Taken without ever establishing that someone has a certain set of skills.
TVSins does a stupid without ever establishing that they have any skills at all.
You think anyone in that VIP section was born a Quado?
I don't think anyone anywhere is born a Quado. Nor do I think...
Skip.
Open your mouth.
Episode contains approximately 73 utterances of this phrase, but never follows it with, and the rest will follow.
Discount Jeremy makes a...
Go Ponytail's secret move.
Does the secret move only work when the person is close by, or will it just reach out and find the closest throat to go down? Is the type of questions I find myself asking while watching this show.
And it's not a sin, but for some stupid reason you gave it a sin anyway. Yay. Comedy.
Not just any knife.
Quado knife!
That fake-ass laugh.
But also, it's still kind of the exact same joke you've been doing this entire episode, so a half a sin is now emerging from the previous sin removals midsection to keep things fair.
You've already sinned the episode for being repetitive, so Discount Jeremy double dips cliche.
Yeah, Morty, that's a par.
Oh, for the love of Paul Macbeth, now you're just trolling me. Here's 18 penalty strokes and an invitation to suck my disc.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Why does a 1 hate an I? I gotta wonder when a lowercase I is an imaginary number.
Who stands to gain when I shoot up the digit? The division is complex, but you know we gotta bridge it.
You think you can stop me with rap?
More homicides than a dodecahedron. Number V letters, the shit that it feeds on.
Today, alphanumerically combined, like GLOCK means my ice cold knife.
I am ready to rejoin my brethren on Alpha Beatrium.
I wonder which Adult Swim Patreon level you have to be subscribed to get not one but two shitty episodes dedicated to you.
Neither of the episodes dedicated to him are shitty. You're just making stuff up to pad the sin count.
Americans, they're attacking.
Planetary defense systems that amount to one person running in and saying, sorry guys, we're already
Channel-wide sin systems that amount to pointing things out on the screen when we can already see what's on the screen.
Divide and conquer! Zero survivors!
Zero survivors? This is an entire fucking planet. That could take days, even years. And what if you kill the only guy who knows how to work the Coke machine at the Capitol building when the cans get stuck? You need to think these things through a little better is all I'm saying.
What the hell was the point of all that nonsense? I mean, it wasn't funny, so I have to assume he was going for a genuine critique, but if that's the case, then he completely missed the mark. Jesus, dumb sin is dumb.
So the lyrics here are 1 + 1 makes you, and that's just a straight up lie. 1 + 1 can...
Skip.
As Water T does some Michael Bay shit. Most of the numbers just stand around and politely wait to be shot instead of shooting at him first.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
Somebody kiss me! I don't want to die not knowing love!
Assuming a kiss will guarantee love.
Assuming being cringy will guarantee you ad revenue. Wait, it actually does? What is wrong with this world?
Sorry I'm late. I had to go pee.
Realizing that all of my coworkers are glad that I'm not shaped like a letter P because I'd be reciting this line of dialogue all day, every day.
Realizing that the Sins channels are just a bunch of unfunny people making cringeworthy jokes and forcing dishonest critiques out of anything they find that they can squeeze some profit out of.
You're coming with me, Morty. Why? It's called detention, not release-tion.
Yes, but this show is called Rick and Morty, not Rick and whoever you are plus Ice-T, so I guess we're all bending some rules today.
And which rule states that the title character must be in every single episode no matter what? Oh, there isn't one, and screenwriters can do whatever they want? Cool. Now, if the TVSins fanboys are going to try to flip that sin around on me and say that TVSins also has the right to do whatever they want, of course they do. I'm just sinning them for how badly they exercise that power. I've never said they shouldn't be allowed to make terrible content, I just sin them for it when they do.
Why do you guys hate each other so much?
Why do all teachers hate all students, Morty? Because you all break our goddamn hearts.
May I recommend, for many reasons, not falling in love with your students?
Coming from a guy who closely works with someone who was sexually attracted to Emma Watson when she was 10 years old, I can appreciate the occasional pedophile joke, but if you're directly working with one and have no problem with it, that's a different story.
Coming out of Helvetica Lightspeed.
Listen, I'm all for puns, but could I have at least one that wasn't Comic Sans? Get it? Because it's Sans comic. There's no comedy.
Yeah, it's just like TVSins.
I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. Yo, 7, count this.
Water T, P, Math Guy, and Morty all survived this sudden depressurization into the vacuum of space.
You're watching a cartoon about numbers and letters fighting a war with a 14-year-old and a high school math teacher. If you're looking for any sort of scientific accuracy, that's a personal problem for you and you alone.
Jesus Christ!
Either the Numericons are co-opting a religious figure from Earth, or there just so happen to be a historical figure in their history called Jesus Christ. Why force a number into Jesus when there are options like Jane Austen, or Harrison Ford, or Tupac?
He asks why they didn't replace Jesus, a religious figure, with any number of celebrities. Do you not understand the difference between a religious figure and a celebrity? Celebrities are rich assholes who do cool shit, whereas religious figures are poor assholes who manipulate and control the masses. Big difference.
You guys don't get out much, huh? It seems kind of obvious that these scribbles are like the original species.
Attempting to explain one's culture, that you are not part of, to them.
Morty isn't explaining the scribble culture to the scribbles. He's explaining it to a letter and a number. Yes, the letters and numbers are descendants of the scribbles, but they still don't have the same culture. How is this so difficult for you to understand? Jesus.
Yo, I just want to thank my words, the letters that made them, and that's it.
Giving a shit about anything that happens at the Grammys. The chain's just a decorative symbol of enslavement. So far, Water T has used telekinesis or some shit to manipulate weapons and other objects, so forgive me if I don't believe these chains are stopping mind bullets.
Cartoon.
I never knew.
You never asked.
Oh, off. You could have told him. Why did he need to ask? Let's stop this unrealistic bullshit expectation that everybody should be psychic and just know when to dig in on a problem.
While I agree with Discount Jeremy's sentiment here, this kind of thing still does happen in the real world all the time, so it's clearly not a mistake of the episode.
I am infinity, omnipotent god of numbers.
But what if it hadn't been 8 that did the double crossing and got transformed? Would Dreadnought have had to wear a belt around its middle to squeeze it into an infinity sign? Would 2 3s have had to go in at the same time?
Asking questions that have nothing to do with the episode you're supposed to be focused on.
Here's a number for you, lady. 86 at us. You're fired.
Look, how the is getting 86 to thing on other planets?
I'll do you one better. How the is simply asking a question the same as a sin on any planet?
Why does a one hate an eye?
How did the scribble know to equip the ship with an epic sound system for this discount Lil Nas X Machina?
Couple things here. First, this is the 3rd time this video I've had to remind you that this is a cartoon. Second, Discount Jeremy misuses the term Deus Ex Machina cliche. And third, Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture
Rise up. Letters and numbers, I said rise up.
Rumor has it Lin-Manuel is currently developing a time machine so he can go back to 2008 and prevent himself from writing Hamilton just so that this rap wouldn't exist.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
Look, Lenny, I gotta know. What do the numbers mean?
4, 8, 50, 60, 20, 42, 4, 8, 50, 60.
God, brutal. Wait, what? Bigfoot, do you have religion? You understand me, don't you? Does Rick do this to you all the time?
Hello? Hello?
This Jerry is lost, confused, and a Jerry cliche is only here to hide the fact that your discount Flatliner's cold open has already killed him 8 times. He knows exactly where he is and what's going on.
This isn't an actual cliche. Also, Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
They're Zero Matt's fields of consciousness preserved by a paradimensional layer of infinite energy?
Using science-like words to yada yada your way into exploiting the afterlife like you're some kind of entry in the Ghostbusters franchise.
Did you expect them to use actual science to enter the afterlife? Something that's never been proven to exist with science? Do you understand why this sin is dumb? Also, Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
I want to tap this paradimension's energy.
For this episode, Rick is going to be more oil.
Skip.
My intact consciousness is too atheistic to get channeled to any afterlife worth robbing.
But you're not really trying to rob the afterlife as much as you're trying to milk the infinite layer of bullshit that this show, I mean, the afterlife, is based on.
Are you seriously sitting a purposefully ridiculous cartoon for being ridiculous? Come on, man. Use that tiny pea brain for once.
You don't even know how to appreciate that because you've never been in energy debt.
You, I've been tired.
That fake-ass laugh.
Even though I appreciate you expediting the relevance of Flea Flag's prophecy, I'm still pissed that episode forced me to witness over 80 instances of vomit.
Sinning a different episode when you're supposed to be sinning this episode.
Oh, is there a time window between battles where a guy could go off and, I don't know, gather resources?
Rick seems to be confusing the afterlife with a video game.
And you seem to be confusing videos with boredom.
I plan on starting from scratch, but you're like way past the Iron Age here.
I'd love to spend all day with you discussing the beginning and end of the Iron Age and how that coincides with the history of the Vikings. And I'd love to discuss how Rick's statement here regarding technological advancement throws shade at the Middle Ages without acknowledging the significance and craftsmanship of the Ulfbert. But instead, I'm forced to ponder how he's zero-mass collecting for Bigfoot he was put in a cell that had dirt flooring that was deep enough to dig a grave.
If you can't provide a justification for why luck is a sin, then I can't accept it, and neither can anyone else who's rational.
Bigfoot, do you have religion?
The more important question is, why do you think Bigfoot would understand English or any human language, Morty?
Because he's Morty. Wow, that was easy.
You must be made of piss and Dragon Balls to reach Valhalla at your age.
Dragon Ball Wii.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
Are you around here gonna make me some pants, or do I have to call the feds on this place?
Making your jokes for the viewer instead of the Vikings, who have no idea who or what the feds are.
Everything wrong with Rick and Morty, ladies and gentlemen. The show made a joke for the audience. What?
Flagpole Sitter by Rick in Danger.
Discount Jeremy makes a...
Bigfoot just got to the town area. How would these cops know to show up with all the f***ing tranquilizers? Are giant monsters showing up a common issue here? Because if so, why don't you f***ing move?
First of all, victim blaming. You sound like a conservative. And second of all, how did you not consider the possibility of someone seeing Bigfoot coming ahead of time and alerting the authorities before he arrived?
You are a thinking beast from outside God's domain.
Choosing to ignore the whole all creatures great and small bit of any part of the Bible because it doesn't fit your current stance, also known as all organized religions. Being killed by machinas in an afterlife with no deus?
Discount Jeremy still doesn't know what a deus ex machina means.
Traded a predator 3 muskets for it.
So it is that currency.
The Catholic Church continuing to do business with predators.
Okay, that was the best joke I've heard from TVSins in a while.
Whoever's doing this would have to be a spiritual leader with limitless resources.
This is efficient because we know it's the Pope, but it's also boring and it feels less like Rick is trying and more like he's just guessing and being right.
So it's boring because Rick was correct? Care to explain how that works? No? Okay, then I can't accept it.
People are intelligent in different ways.
My excuse when I have to have the...
Skip?
It's over, the Pope! We got you!
Using an unnecessary article before anything's named. Did you happen to attend The Ohio State University, Rick? Because that would explain so much about why you're an unrelenting dick.
Damn it, this video is way better than most.
Gotta admit, Morty, I didn't really fight that time. I wanted to make sure this worked.
Doing a live test of your resurrection machine before you're even certain it'll work.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Really wish we had time to unpack all of Frankenstein's parts making it here.
Show is now just pointing out its own sins as a desperate attempt to hack its way into heaven.
And why is it a sin? Oh, you're not going to explain? You know, for someone who's made fun of organized religion several times this video, you sure do behave like a religion, expecting everyone to accept your claims without providing a single good reason.
Popey ball. There.
Okay.
If I didn't say anything, someone was going to be like, you missed Popey ball, it was right there. I thought about not using a Pokeball because of that, and it's just the right tool for the right job. What, am I supposed to not use it and shoot the Pope in the head?
You could have just crossed the streams on your Pontiff while saying, I ain't afraid of no Pope. There. Okay? We all know if I didn't say anything, someone was going to be like, you didn't send the Popey ball bit. And I even thought about not using Pontiff Packs because it's the wrong tool for the wrong job. But otherwise, I'd end up adding a sin for Rick not shooting the Pope in the head.
Boring!
Say, I was eating some booty cheeks and the stupid in my mouth. Can you smell it?
I'm gonna rip out your spleen and feed it to your husband.
Uh-oh, wouldn't want that.
Yikes, Morty. We better run before it figures out what a husband is.
This Carnival of Nightmares used to be scary, right?
We've seen too much.
It sucks, you know, because it's fun to break off a scare now and then.
Did I hear you fellas wishing for some good old-fashioned scares?
I mean, I more wish you wouldn't eavesdrop.
Yeah, who are you? Does the suit mean you work here? Or that you super don't work here?
Wait, why are we going straight into the opening title sequence? What do we even call this? Is it a hot opening? And what do we even call this? Is it a hot opening, the title of my sex tape?
Discount Jeremy makes a cringeworthy sex tape joke that isn't funny cliche.
I'm gonna rip out your spleen and feed it to your husband.
I don't think there's anything strange about the husband thing, not just because I'm woke, but also because Rick and Morty got at least half married during the previous Leon fiasco in Full Meta Jack Rick, and I don't know where this Cronenberg is getting its intel or how marriage law works in this specific cartoon reality.
Boring!
Yourselves, I'm a connoisseur of fear.
Scene mentions a connoisseur of fear, but does not include one Mr. George A. Romero or a William Toby Hooper or a Bozo the Clown. What? You know Bozo scared the shit out of you as well.
Discount Jeremy makes 3 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
Those fish that nibble dead skin off your feet? Yeah, the hole's kind of like that. It eats fear.
Discount Rod Serling suggests the possibility that fear has mass, and Rick lets this slide without a thorough investigation.
Except that having Morty go into the hole is Rick's investigation. Dude, just watch the show.
Okay, the whole thinks I'm scared of not having a gun.
The whole sounding a lot like Europeans who visit America, and Rick sounding a lot like Americans who visit America.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Me immediately knowing they're still in the hole because I can't think of...
Skip?
I knew he was working on teleportation, but wouldn't this be time travel?
It doesn't matter if it's time travel because none of it will be real, so the show can keep its conscience clean knowing it hasn't sunk to the level of Ant-Man and the Wasp. This was a reference to the Vat of Acid episode. I hope you're happy.
Pointless sin that wastes time is pointless and wastes time.
I deliver you waffles and an apology.
The robot will have a crisis. They will off to the zoo, and these waffles will go uneaten.
You never see the waffles get eaten, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have been eaten off-screen. I know it probably sounds ridiculous that I'm saying such a stupid and insignificant thing, but he brought it up.
Morty gets cooler accessories in the hole than in the real world that we view as his reality in the cartoon I'm watching in this manufacturer.
Skip.
Happiness is a trap. It can't last forever.
Hey now, that is... No, actually discount Jordan Peele's doing a discount Rod Serling assessment is totally fair.
Discount Jeremy sends something he agrees with cliche.
No understudy!
What kind of second-rate Mickey Mouse production has no understudy?
That's the joke.
Did your universe's version end?
Jack, Locke, and Sawyer teamed up to kill a fog monster and everyone got rescued.
How does another universe's Lost finale sound worse than the one we actually got? Maybe this is my greatest fear. Am I in the hole? I am, aren't I? Is Bozo gonna be right around the corner? No, seriously. Is Bozo the fucking clown gonna be right around the corner?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
What's happening?
Morty, he's trying to hog the hole.
As true as that may be, we know how greedy Morty can be with the hole. I have to ask why the hole is wasting time and energy actualizing this date when Rick is not even in the hole.
It's a cartoon, bro. Who gives a shit?
$8 for a side of bacon?
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Saw that coming and it was still hilarious. But the episode is about growth, and we all saw it coming as soon as we saw the receipt.
That fake-ass laugh. Also, Discount Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
This episode loves breakfast so much it should marry it, which is only a sin because there have been no fucking pancakes. And I know they got a lumberjack slam at the beginning, which traditionally does come with a side plate of pancakes. But the waiter did not put any fluffy, delicious joy discs on the table, meaning they did something unthinkable and subbed it with pancake puppies, which I didn't even think was... I realize this truck has the same logo on it from the pilot.
Skip.
You're not even in the hole, are you?
Considering how little of Rick has actually been in episodes this season, this checks out. I hope all that time off rejuvenates him for what I'm sure will be a good season 8. I can't even say it with a straight face, but I really did try.
This season being bad is, of course, just a matter of opinion, but given how terrible the TVSins track record is, I'm gonna give this a sin and call that fair.
Shaving your face without looking in a mirror.
Making content without being entertaining.
Erie, you like my pussy?
There's no need for that.
Why not? I need my pussy touched and taste.
I regret to announce this is the end. I'm going now. I bid you all a very fond farewell.